This presentation today is about a quantum gold recovery unit from the USA, and it's quite new to Australia. And what we're going to do is take you through the various processes of how this unit works and how you can recover gold. And to further go on with what we're going to do, I'm going to call on Pat, who's a technical support officer, and he will come over and we'll ask him various questions. So Pat, explain how this gold recovery unit works.
Well, it's always been a problem to get very fine gold dust out of water, and this machine here will take up to 1 micron of gold dust out of any given water area, which is very, very unique. Now, to achieve that, it's done by the use of carbon, which is pre-activated into these cylinders. At this stage we're using 8 cylinders through a 4-inch intake diesel motor through a twin-engined manifold.
Obviously the machine looks to me to be mobile, is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's made like a portable unit where you can tow it behind your vehicle, and a test kit comes with this machine, so you can actually test the area of the water prior to putting this in the water. So it's still gold mining in the true sense of the word.
So you can actually go to rivers or streams or lakes and do a test where you feel that if the test is correct, you can then commence to locate the machine and begin with your process. Is that
yes.
correct?
Well, most gold's suspended in the water. So you test on river banks and maybe walk out into the river a wee bit to an area, and then that's where you put your location sucking pipe from that area. Now it gives you a definition of how much gold roughly is in there per gallon. We're running 1,600 litres a minute through here, and that determines how much gold we get per millions of gallons or millions of litres of water, whichever way you want to call it. It's quite unique.
Okay Pat, well can you show us how the cylinder unscrews and how the filter works?
Certainly. So after a period of time of the water collecting pumping the water through, we then remove the bags out of the actual cylinders by way of just unscrewing the top. Very simple. So we remove the filter out of the cylinder, and this in turn holds the material which collects the gold, and it presents itself just like that. So that actually collects the small particles of gold, which in turn is taken back for processing to extract the precious metals out of that material. It's a very simple arrangement. It goes back together again, and once you start the pump, you just turn the bleeder on, bleed it for a second, and we're back in business again running it. So it's a simple process to take these bags out and replace them with fresh bags. So it makes the whole machine a very simple operation in the gold mining area.
Okay Pat, so could you explain how we extract the gold from the filters in the machine and how exactly this works?
Well, over a period of time, having run it into the lake or river, we then take the bags out of here, which are carbon activated filled. From there, the bags are taken to a processing plant and what's called leaching. Now there's various ways of leaching it out. You can do it by burning, you can do it by a leach material, whatever the case might be. There's numerous ways of doing it. The big trick is to get the gold out first. Now these cylinders will hold up to 15 pounds of gold. There's no way we're going to be getting 15 pounds of gold, I don't think. But the exciting part about it is there's 8 cylinders with a tremendous water flow going through. So we do expect a very rich return on the product of gold, platinum, palladium and various other precious metals. So it collects precious metals as such. That's what the machine does do.
So with someone having the machine running say for a month, it's quite possible that after a month you could expect to get a return of so many ounces of gold.
Well, I would think, conservatively speaking, you should be getting an ounce a day in the right circumstantial river or lake.
Everything being equal and all your tests and so forth,
yeah.
That's what you could extract with the right environment or the right gold.
Yes, well we intend
deposits.
Putting larger tanks on here, Phil, so we can run these 24 hours a day without stopping. And that will give us a water flow per gold.
And of course you must remember that what we're talking about is gold dust.
Yes it is, as fine as baby powder, unique.
Right. Okay. So Pat, tell me, in the states of Australia, what do you have to do in relation to obtaining licences? Do you have to, obtain it state by state, or could you explain something about that?
Well, I think from an amateur's point of view, and not a commercial project, the machine here is a water filtration plant in the true sense of the word. So Unless you are commercially getting involved into it, in other words, you're pumping 24 hours a day with 4 or 5 machines, just as an ordinary hobby machine, you do not need a license at all. But be aware that you may need the rights to mine in certain areas. Now that depends on each state and each area you go to, but 90% of the time you wouldn't be required to do it because it is water filtration in the true sense of the term.
The machine, what are replacements required over a period of time? What do you have to replace?
Well, when you purchase a machine, you get a spare set of what we'll call bags, which is filtration bags. And when you've had the water running through it for a certain period of time, you replace the bags and you take the full bag back for processing. You then put the new bag in. And as far as spare parts are concerned, as you can see, it's 98% PVC. Now that's a very strong PVC, and we don't expect any trouble with it at all. That's a diesel motor, which will run 5 to 10 years, depending on how fast you run it, of course. But everything is made on here so that an amateur can look after it at home. There's no need for massive engineering with this machine. It's simplicity itself, as you can see.
So you could locate the machine at an area, let's say, where it's isolated and it's self-sufficient, it'll run itself. That's what you're saying.
Yes, 90% of these components is from swimming pools. Bearing in mind, you know a little bit of how to put it together with the glue, but you haven't got to be an expert to do it. It's pretty self-sufficient, the whole thing, and we've made it so it stays simple, Phil.
And of course the whole thing would be environmentally friendly.
Yes, it is, to the tune that we can actually have solar power, petrol, diesel, or any other type of motivation at all, of course. We're using diesel here, but a very clean fuel diesel.
So Pat, we've been predominantly speaking about gold. What other metals will this machine put through?
Well, in the precious metals department you have primarily gold, platinum, plutonium, and there's various other commodities of precious metals. Now, really to refine them all down into different areas is not an easy job. So with that in mind, you either take it to a gold smelting business, which is plenty of, or there is a process you can do it at home through normal leaching.
Okay, so Pat, just going on forward from there, what would be the delivery times and expected times that someone, by ordering one of these machines, could expect?
I think from ordering time, Phil, you're probably looking at about a 2-week period to assemble one and then run it up for 3 or 4 days in the river prior to delivery. That'll eliminate leaks, any diesel problems we have, so we know if it goes into the back blocks, it's ready to go. And it's trailable, of course. You hook it straight on your car and go.
Perhaps you'd like to tell us about the weight factor of this machine.
Well, I think, Phil, it's about 150 k's, which means you can tow it with a quad bike. You can actually tow it with a motorbike if you wanted to. But once again, a motor vehicle, of course, it'll tow. It's American-style coupling. It comes complete with all the required lights and number plate frames. Totally brand new, the trailer, the whole assembly. Every part of this machine is new.
So it's virtually ready to tow away.
It is, sir. It's
upon delivery.
Immediate delivery.
Yeah.
And you can buy it in a broken down form, or you can buy it the way you see it. Okay.
So Pat, in Australia, could you tell me what sort of opposition or that this machine would have? Is there anything else on the market similar or that's like our product?
As far as I'm aware, Phil, I've seen nothing in the last 5 years that would actually get anywhere near this to capture the fineness of the gold this is capturing. It's very unique. It's been around overseas for many years, but it's never ever been in Australia.